So welcome back, Janet. Yeah, Happy New Year.
Thank you.
Now,
Thank you.
Janet's resolution normally in the new year is to be kind, to be nice, not to be falling out. What, Colin? Not to be falling out with anybody.
I didn't make that one this year.
But she didn't make that one this year because, well, you've already found yourself at kind of a bit of a loggerheads with Kirstie Allsopp. Now, this is something she wrote to explain why this made you cross.
Well, I read in an interview that Kirstie Allsopp and Phil Spencer had done with the Mail on Sunday about the property market. Kirstie said that she felt very strongly that detached houses, the new building of detached houses, should be banned because they weren't environmentally practical and they didn't help community spirit. And not only do I completely disagree with that, I think it doesn't look good when you live the kind of lifestyle that Kirstie Allsopp lives, where, you know, fair play to her. She inherited money, she comes from a wealthy family, she lives in 2 nice flats knocked into one in Notting Hill Gate, and she owns a £3.5 million house in the country. So she's a wealthy woman. I think that having watched a lot of the stories on ITV's News at 10 about substandard housing, some of which has reduced me to tears, I would never pontificate about what kind of house people should be living in. I think you just don't do that in this country. It's a topic that totally divides us, and if you've got a home, you're lucky. A lot of people have not only not got a home, they've got a rental home that's substandard and rubbish and costs too much.
Well, actually, I have to say, Kirstie did say, the quotes were taken a little bit out of context, and we've all been party to that ourselves in an interview. A comment, sometimes throwaway comment, or something within a conversation gets picked out as a headline. But she also said, you know, every day I get to work with people, I get to help people, I see the country, I learn about real lives and real issues. So I think she's saying, you know, just because I have a big house doesn't mean I don't understand.
Fair play, she might understand, but just articulate it in a more nuanced way.
She said she's very concerned about the quality of homes being built. So she said a lot of these detached houses on estates are thrown up often, and she said it's the quality of housing as well that she was talking about.
But I agree. The quality of new builds could be better, but there's no denying that people in this country do want, if possible, to have a bit of space around them, more space than they perhaps have at the moment. And I also agree with Kirstie that you can build very good terraced houses, you can build very good semi-detached houses. But I just think when you talk about housing, you've got to understand, number one, there's a huge shortage, and number two, most people can't afford it.
Well, So that leads me on to, I don't know if you've seen this, is the CEO of NatWest, OK, so Howard Davies. He was asked when he thought it would be easier for people to get on the property ladder. And this is what he said. Well, I don't think it's that difficult at the moment.
Oh, my God.
You have to save. That's the way it always used to be.
Sometimes you can't save.
Right, Linda. So when I said that this morning, so did you see this comment? You were like... What?
I grew up in a council house.
I
never wanted to own my own house. All my family had council houses and we were very happy in them. The rent was, like, reasonable and everything. But nowadays, I mean, now I've got my own house. I never wanted my own house. It was only my accountant said to me, you should buy your own house. I went, but what if I never work again? How am I going to pay my mortgage? Anyway, eventually I did. But my 3 kids have got to wait for me to die before they can get on the property ladder because, you know, they've all got jobs, they're all working, but they're never, ever going to be able to. Lauren lives in a 2-bedroom flat in a Georgian house, like 3 stories up. And I said to her, put in the right to buy and see if we can help you. I want to help them. I want to, you know, before I die, I'd like to see them all owning their own properties. And they said it was £800,000 for a 2-bedroom flat on the 3rd floor where you're not allowed to leave anything under the stairs. She's got 2 girls, so you can't leave your scooters or your bikes or anything under the stairs. I mean, it's just impossible. There is hardly any council properties left now because a lot of them have been sold
And
off.
that's the thing, Janet, you know, when we were talking to particularly a lot of our young members in our team, they were saying, you know, you have to save to get deposit, but with the cost of living, the cost of renting, which is sky high, not just in London, but everywhere, there's nothing left to save. They said by the time they've paid their bills, unless they literally live on, you know, bread and water twice a month, there's nothing left in the pot.
I know.
It's like this vicious cycle. Even by the time they've saved, property prices have gone up. So
the government needs to appoint someone to get a grip on the housing crisis, to understand that first-time buyers can't afford the deposit, can't save. How can they save when the cost of living, has not gone down enough? Although they say inflation has dropped a bit. Look at all the other expenses that have gone up. I mean, people deserve to live in decent housing, full stop. And that should be a number one priority for the government.
I do just have to say, because obviously there's been a lot of people commenting on what Sir Howard Davies said. He's now said he didn't intend to underplay the serious challenges people face when buying a home. He said, my comment was meant to reflect that in this context, access to mortgages is less difficult than it has been. I fully realise it didn't come across that way. Maybe access to a mortgage is more accessible.
Well, that's like saying everybody can drive an Aston Martin, but how many of us get the chance? Yeah, exactly.
OK.